Congressman, obviously the left is going to go crazy about this, and this is something I've tried to explain to my friends on the right, is that we're tempted to bring up all the stats, right? Not that there's no value in that show all the gun control areas are the worst areas, and the U.S. doesn't actually have a mass shooting problem. We're tempted to bring up all these things, but really it doesn't matter to them. They just want us disarmed, and that's the bottom line, right?
Yeah, there's no question about that. And look, you don't have to look very far. Just take their word for it, right? I mean, I'm sitting in House Judiciary Committee proceedings. I'm sitting on the floor of the House, and they tell you, and I think you should believe them. They want to take your weapon. So our job is to fight against that. Unlike the Senate, who's caving to say, oh, we've got to do something, we should be standing up and holding the line. And God bless the Supreme Court for leaning into our fundamental right to bear arms and to bear arms, which is what that ruling was about. But the critical part here, Jesse, is that they don't want to admit the truth, that this isn't just about hunting and this isn't just about protecting yourself on the streets. This is about protecting yourself against tyranny. And the irony is they want to exercise tyranny to take away your guns so that you can't defend yourself against the tyranny they say will never be used against you. They are so unbelievably, crass in their lack of caring for our actual recognition of our constitutional right.
Yeah, I do find it funny the people who just 2 years ago told us we weren't essential now tell us which weapons we are and aren't allowed to have. That is interesting. Here's New York Governor Kathy Hochul melting down.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking that they have taken away our right to have reasonable restrictions. We can have restrictions on speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. But somehow there's no restrictions allowed on the Second Amendment. This is New York. And I'm sorry this dark day has come. That we're supposed to go back to what was in place since 1788 when the Constitution of the United States of America was ratified. And I would like to point out to the Supreme Court justices that the only weapons at the time were muskets. I'm prepared to go back to muskets.
Congressman, all right, so they're freaking out, but are we done with this fight here? Is there more we can do? I hate to sound greedy, but are there wins we can get out of Congress? I know not this Congress, but going forward, should Congress flip, is there something else we can hope for nationally?
Well, first of all, we're never done with the fight, right? You see it, they will never stop. They want us to be disarmed. And, history is replete with people who have been disarmed and then had terrible things happen to them. We obviously know in Nazi Germany, we know in Russia, we know in China, we know throughout the world, it has been true, and particularly in the South, disarming slaves. It was purposeful, and it was purposely done so they couldn't defend themselves. They want to disarm us. And the fact is, Congress, when we're in charge, we need to do everything we can to bolster those rights, stand up for those rights, and move forward on offense rather than playing defense. But let's keep in mind, the governor, she was just lying to you. She was lying to the American people when she said, about the restrictions. First of all, the court said you can still maintain licensing requirements. You can still maintain the ability to have certain standards. I'm not sure I fully agree with that at the end of the day. Constitutional carry would say you have the right to bear arms. But they left in place the licensing requirement. All they said was that you must issue it if you meet those requirements, not may. But the point is the court was recognizing you have a right to defend yourself, not just in your home, but around the country. That is a fundamental right, and it is a right that Democrats do not care about because they want power and control. That's what this is about.
We recently saw 14 Republicans in the Senate go in with the Democrats on some crappy little gun control bill. And yes, I've already raged about that, so I'm not going to rage about that again. But please tell me those are a dying breed of Republican, right? We are getting rid of those ones, aren't we, Congressman?
Well, I think we're making progress, but unfortunately, they kind of rear their head up again, right? And they forget that they respond to the people. And I'm hopeful that the vote in the House will be overwhelming. I think we're going to lose a few here, but we have a duty to hold them accountable. Now, I say that and I mean it. Hold me accountable. Hold every member accountable. I'm tired of what we're seeing in this country where the people in Washington run over the people that are out in the world in the United States doing their job every single day, right? America in a few weeks is going to, 2 weeks is going to celebrate our July 4th holiday. Well, in 2026, Jesse, it'll be our 250th anniversary. What are we going to do? What are we going to do for our kids and grandkids? I can promise you that those senators, those 15 senators, or the few House members here who are happy to go do a deal with the very Democrats who want to kill us, take away our way of life, undermine our ability to defend ourselves, tell us that there isn't a difference between man and woman, tell us that we got to have open borders, tell us that you got to have criminals running on the streets. We want to go do a deal with them? That's insane. And so those individuals need to be held accountable. We need to make sure that they pay a price at the polls, and we got to win primary fights, and we got to get out and defend America. But the time is coming, the clock is ticking. We've got to get out and make sure we protect this country for our kids and grandkids.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, The Forgotten Genocide, the first episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.